Good morning. I wanted to come on this morning after kind of having this question on my mind all weekend. And I wanted to talk about it because I've been pondering with it. And the more I thought about it, the more I looked at other podcasts, it's like the same question that came to my mind was the same thing that other people were going through, but addressing it through other types of verbiage and conversation on their podcast. I wanted to just say this morning, ask you this question this morning, and I posted it on my Facebook, I believe, on Friday. Listen to me closely, how do we catch people when they fall? Think about that for a second. How do we catch people when they fall? Do we even try to catch them? Do we even want them to fall? And I would say that we really don't. There are of us who don't, but there are those who benefit from those who fall. So on this morning, I just want to take a few minutes to just talk about what's on my heart and some things that I have come past me this weekend. How do we catch people when they fall? And I'm not talking about just, financially. Sometimes people physically get down in life through their health. They lose their resources. They've got things on their mind that they just seem to can't get past and get over. How do we catch people when they fall? I heard so much of the term used this weekend, that depression. That person that's going through depression is falling. How do we help them? How do we catch them? How do those of us who are up and pretty much kind of feel like we got it together or a little stabilized in life, how do we catch those people who fall? And I'm talking about, look at, more people today are talking about depression. More people today are talking about anxiety. More people today are talking about all types of mental breakdowns. People, listen to me closely, people are dealing with so much today. They need more than just words. We have to, and that includes all of us, we have to put feet up under our words. We have to start doing something outside of just talking to help people to be encouraged and move forward in life. Yes, sometimes it does take finances. Sometimes it does. A lot of times it does when people fall. But we got to catch people when they fall. We got to be there in the front of that thing with intervention, some views on how do I get in front of this thing? Because a lot of us, we see these people falling, but we're not doing anything. I remember the older people used to always say, you just talking loud and saying nothing. And you know what? I look at that today. A lot of us are just talking loud, but we're not saying nothing. What I mean by that, we're not not putting feet up under what we are talking about. We know, and people know, that God will provide, but God works through human agency. He really does. It's so much that we can do to catch people when they fall. If a person done already failed, we need to get in front of that thing before they fall. But we're not paying attention. You know why? Because a lot of times we're doing things through conversation, but we're not putting no feet up under what we're doing and what we're saying. We got to put feet up under this thing. We got to really, really act like we are really trying to help this person to get back up, to get stabilized. Depression is no joke. It's really not. It's no joke. Anxiety is no joke. Anything. And you, all of us can say what we want to, but you guys, anything that touches a person's mental is serious, because that will break a person down in a New York second. We watch people deteriorating right in front of us, and we never ask them, how can we help them? What's going on? What do you need? Because you know why? You know why? We're afraid that they're going to say they need us to do something. But you got to be about what you're talking about. Tap into people right here. Check on somebody. Have a conversation with them. Get in their head. See what's going on. I am telling you, this weekend, I have heard so much on depression. And you know what? We can say what we want to, but all of us going through the pandemic have experienced, and we will come out of this thing. We're not out of it yet. We at the tail end of it with some low grade of post-traumatic stress disorder. You know why? Because this pandemic has impacted everybody. Everybody. From the smallest to the eldest. And you know what? I see why that question was brought to my mind. How do we catch people when they fall? So many people have fallen through this pandemic. Financially, because people lost jobs. People couldn't afford to buy food. People couldn't afford to pay their rent. People couldn't afford, because they lost their jobs, to go to the doctor. Then the hospitals were pushing back surgeries unless they were emergency. Any elective surgeries, yeah, that's something you elect to do, but that could be reset. But look at all of the surgeries that had to be done. And some were postponed because of this pandemic. People, that is stressful. That can cause trauma. That I'm talking to here, up here, in our mentals. And people fell behind that. People had questions that they felt like couldn't be answered. And it's like every time you turn around, it's some death somewhere. And people are just on edge. And I know I'm telling the truth because I've heard so many people say it. Talking about it. Both around me and some people on Facebook and just hearing it on the news all the time. That. That gets into people's mental. That is stressful to see that all the time, because what you hearing all the time, and it's like you can't get away from it. What you hearing all the time will swallow you up if you're not careful. So how do we catch people when they fall? And I'm talking about in our mental, when we fall, when we get so to the point, when we get to the point that we don't care about what's going on around us. We're not going to take care of nobody else but ourselves. Just me and mine, as long as we okay. And you know what? God ain't pleased with that. I don't care what you say. When you ignore others and you see people falling and you don't try to do nothing, you don't try to catch them, you don't pick up your phone, you don't send a text message, you don't do nothing, you just watch them fall. People are closing up in their houses and not coming out. This is really happening. This is what I'm saying this morning is really happening. People are literally going into their homes and not coming out. They're so afraid, still afraid, even though we're at the tail end of this pandemic. Don't you know that that's a part of depression? Isolation, they got to the depression before they got to the isolation. And ain't nobody checked on them. They haven't checked on them right here. Each and every one of us, whether we want to believe it or not, are experiencing, whether it's a low grade, middle grade, mid-grade, grade, or a high grade of PTSD, you got it. Because it's something in life that has gotten next to you. Before this pandemic, at the beginning, and now that it's slowing down. And it is, but it's still out there. And I heard a young man say yesterday, he said, I was so depressed. I was not all right. I was walking around and I was smiling. I was just doing everything in front of people. He said, but when I would get home, I'd just cry. Uncontrollably. And I had to come to the fact that I'm dealing with depression. And I got to tell somebody, I'm not all right. I'm all right financially, but up here, I'm not all right. Let me say that again, because people think money is everything. Because you got some money, people think, oh, they got money, they be all right. Sometimes people just feel like that. Oh, we got money, we can do what we want to. We ain't got no problem. No. This young man's got money. And he talking about how depressed he is. Money can't fix depression. I don't care how much money you got. It cannot fix depression. See, you got to have peace. You got to have some peace above all understanding. You're not going to get that peace unless God give it to you. You got to go to him and ask him for that. See, how we catch people when they fall? Again, we open up our mouths and we check on people. And we see what we can do. And we pray and ask God to open up the channels of our minds to know how to help them. And open up the channels of their mind to allow him to help them. Because nobody can get through life. I don't care who you are. Nobody can get through life on their own, by themselves. You need some peace. You need some understanding. You need things opened up to you to reveal and show you that you are not alone. God works through human agency, so I don't know why we try to get so divided. I don't know why people celebrate when people fall. I don't know it. I don't know. I can't understand that, because I cannot see myself celebrating because somebody else has failed. Whatever, however, financially, mentally, spiritually. How do we catch people? That's an individual question, in a sense, that you have to think about, because you coming in contact every day with some people who have failed. How are we going to catch them to keep them from falling? Everything shouldn't be after the fact. We got to be more observative. We got to know, just because people smiling don't mean they all right. And it's not always they want some money from you. Sometimes people just want somebody to care. Sometimes people just want somebody to understand. Sometimes people just want somebody to lean in and care about what it is that they're going through. People losing it every day because they feel like they can't hold on. But I'm saying this morning, you can hold on. You can get up and go again. You got to be like that, the little engine that said that it could. And you can, and I can. And the way that first of all, we're going to go to God, and we're going to ask God to help us out of everything that we're missing in our lives, or we feel like has been taken from us in some manner. We got to go to God and open up our hands to God and close our eyes and just sometimes meditate and just talk to him. It's you and him. And if you don't need it at this time, it's somebody that needs support, mental support, physical support, spiritual support. And you got to ask God to show you those people, to show them to you. And then, if he showed them to you, he going to give you the resources that they need. Even if that resource is just the words that they need. People are hurting out here. People, we don't pay attention to stuff until a tragedy happens. That's the wrong time. We got to get in front of this thing. We got to get away from all this negative talk. Don't you know negativity is like a sponge? It will soak you up. And you'll be wondering, what happened? Negativity will soak you up. Negative people will soak you up. They like a sponge. And every time you begin to talk, you start talking like that person that talks negativity all the time. You don't see nothing positive in anything. And that's not a good way to be. Spiritually, if a person is falling spiritually, pray for that person. Don't sit back and criticize them. Pray for them, that whatever they are lacking in their walk, that God will provide it to them and for them. Do that. It's important. It's so important. I wish that we would get off the sidelines from waiting for people to fall and actually get in the game to try to help them from falling, to try to catch them. Catch them before that depression takes them all the way down. Catch them before that anxiety takes them all the way down. Catch them before they get to that breaking point. You don't have the answers, but God does. And he will show you how to help people and catch them before they fall. And even if it's financially, God will give it to you to give it to them. Because he can't send blessings to you if he can't send them through you. See, everything you get is not for you. Some of that is supposed to go to somebody else that need that help. That need that help. So I'm not going to be on here long this morning. I just wanted to share that. How do we, this is an individual question. How do we catch people when they fall? Because look here. Some people want people to fall because they benefit from your fall. Yeah. Some people want people to fall because they benefit from your fall. You see how all the prices went up? When the pandemic came, they didn't go down on stuff so to make it affordable. They went up. You notice how your utility bills are increasing? The percentages, the usage. You know what they did? Because they know that people was in the houses more, right? So they went up. When people fall, big industries, they like that because they benefit. Oh, yeah. When they were giving out all of the food stamps, look how they start. You go for a pack of chicken wings. 6 chicken wings for $12. Come on, y'all. But consumers, we got to beat them at their own game. Buy what you need to last you longer than a week or two. Whatever you get, you make the best out of it. That you're not having to run in and out these stores all the time. Making the rich, helping them to get richer. Off of the backs of the poor. You know what? That's one of those situations. Look at gas prices. Why they so high? You know why? Because the oil and gas industry is benefiting. That's why they want us to fall. The rich want you to fall because they get richer. And they're not doing what it takes to help you to get through. Everything inflated. Everything inflated. And you know what? That's why we got to learn how to catch people when they fall. How do we? We get in the game and we help them. We listen to God as he tells us what to do through the Holy Spirit. And there might be some that say, well, I don't believe in God. Well, what remedy are you going to use? How do we catch people when they fall? I'm going to leave that question with you this morning. Because I've been thinking about it all weekend long. How do we catch people when they fall? And why do people not want you to catch people when they fall? The answer to that is because they benefit. They benefit. That's a serious question with a lot of meaning. And that's something that you and me have to think about as individuals, because people are going through so much, and this is not a time to sit up and criticize. This is a time to see how you and I can help. You ain't saying that we got it all together at 100%, but we might not be where somebody else is at. We're a little better off. Okay? So I'm going to leave that with you guys this morning. I just wanted to come on briefly and share that with you. And again, pose that question. Just something for you to think about. All right? Y'all have a wonderful day. All right? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.